Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to all, dear authors and invited guests. Welcome to Technical Session 1C. Myself, Harsh Soni, moderator of this session. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th International Conference in SMARTCOM, Smart Trends for Computing and Communications through Zoom. I hope you will all enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the day. Just before we get started, there's one special note for the presenters that you may all please stay connected with us till the closing remarks. And there's a special note for the presenters that we have 8 presenters in this session, and each presenter will be given 8 minutes for their presentation and 2 minutes for their question and answers. On the 7 minute, I will raise a gentle reminder to conclude your presentation. Okay, so now we are starting with our first presenter. Our first presenter is Liti Kosi, and she's presenting on a perspective view of image and video forgery techniques.
Yes, sir.
Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Yes. Okay. Can I start, sir?
Ma'am, is it good if you can make it full screen so everyone
It's
can
full
see it?
screen, sir. It's full screen.
No, ma'am. Do one thing, ma'am. Uh, you can stop sharing and again you can start this screen sharing so that you can
Okay.
see the screen.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Sir, good afternoon all. I am Niti Koshi, going to present the paper, A Perspective View of Image and Video Forgery Detection, Department of School of Computing, Satyabama Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai. As an introduction, digital media and their applications gain huge interest around the world in several fields like newspaper, social media, defaming persons and codes. So media manipulating tools can be found anywhere on the internet, and some users can alter the content of the digital media in order to achieve his personal goal without leaving no traces detectable by the human eye perceptions. The image and video forgery has common due to the availability of high quality image editing softwares. So for forgery detection, we need to know some important features of the media. So in past few decades, more and more researchers have been undergoing to detect and rectify tampered images and video. So as an overview of image forgery, it has two types: active approach and passive approach. Active approach is something like our digital signature and digital marketing, in which the image contains some information about the picture, where it has to be taken, what time it has to be stated. But in passive approach, it doesn't have any information like this. And passive approach is divided into two: copying of forgery, image slicing, and image retouching. So in copying of forgery, what the alter has to do is the one taking one image and copying some part of the image and paste it onto the same image in different locations. Image splicing means it uses cut and paste system for one or more images to create another fake image. Image resampling means some selected portions have to undergo geometric transformations like rotation, scaling, stretching, viewing, and flipping, so forth. So one of the common image forgery technique is copying of forgery, where a region of the image is copied and pasted on another region of the same image. So copying of forgery detection techniques. Forgery detection techniques can be fall into 5 categories: pixel level image detection, based forgery detection based on image format. What is done in pixel level image detection is it concentrates on the pixels of the digital image, and in forgery detection is the image format is. A majority of them is based on the image format, which the JPEG is being most commonly used. It uses some statistical correlation used by various lossless compression algorithms in order to detect image forgery. Detecting forgery is more difficult when the image is compressed. So camera-based image forgery detection. Image taken with digital camera is processed in several ways before being stored in the memory. This involves smoothing, sharpening, correlation, convolution, balancing, filtering, etc. So the method based on camera-based detection is divided into four types: sensor noise, color filter mosaic, chromatic abbreviation, and camera sensor response. And forgery detection can be done based on geometric method, based on, that is, it is based on the vanishing point located quite closest to the image sender in authentic pictures. In an image, when a human or thing is translated, the projection reference point is also relocated proportionally. So forgery detection based on geometric method is mainly focused on projection point from the image of the pair of eyes. Forgery detection is based on physical environment, relies on 3D interactions between the camera, physical object, and light. These approaches are reliant on lighting conditions at the time of capturing the image. When it comes to capturing an image, lighting is crucial. The two types of methods used for physical forgery detection based on physical environment is light direction and light environment. So literature survey that is done based on these forgery image and for video forgery detection techniques are: first one is Shah proposed acquires to find more copy more forgery detection for video forensics in 2018. The authors proposed to detect interframe copy more forgeries based on some optical flow. An optical flow analysis suspected tampered points, but this method doesn't find the forgery or tampered videos when it is on large static screen. Omea proposed an accurate and efficient forgery detection using lateral chromatic aberration in 2018. In this paper, a new methodology to detect forgery images is based on detecting localized LC inconsistencies. So this paper is simply a hypothesis testing problem. If the assumptions hold true, one can detect, one can perform the optimal solution. Ping et al. Proposed an optimized 3D lighting environment estimation for image forgery detection in 2017. In this paper, the proposed reflection model can incorporate non-complex geometry and facial texture information, which is more applicable to real faces. This method is more dependent on accurate 3D face models. The shading prominence is too weak, the model will have poor performance. Zindagi proposed an iterated local copy forgery detection based on new interest point detected in 2016. The proposed scheme detects interest points. It certainly cover the entire image in a compact manner. The interest point density is automatically adjusted over the image in order to concentrate more on the suspected regions. The disadvantage of this method is that the whole detection process have to be iterated in order to achieve a precise result. De Colisno proposed an efficient dense field copy forgery detection based on rotation invariant features computed densely on the image in 2015, and as the extended work of the same authors, which was the extended work of the same authors by copy forgery detection based on patch match in 2014. First, approximate nearest neighbor search algorithm is suited for the computation of dense field over the images. The main disadvantage of the proposed method is that when the image size is larger, all these tools become much ineffective, and also the extensive search of the burst matching closest nearest point is extensively difficult. Amino et al. Proposed a video forgery detection based on 3D patch match in 2015. Major ingredients in this method is that noise resilient, rotation invariant features, dense field matching over the whole video, and ad hoc post processing for the video detection and false alarm removal. But this method is concentrated on short videos, and also it takes first large processing time. El Amira et al. Proposed a shift-based forensic method for copy mode attack detection and transformation recovery.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you have 1 minute.
Scale schema determination, key point localization, and generalization of key point detectors, and the disadvantages key point based work relatively on small pixels. Another algorithm by Jodel et proposed a hybrid LSTM encoder decoder architecture for the detection of image forgeries. And this proposed method has the performance drops in case if the video or the image is undergoes compression, blurring, geometric transformation, and other change of intensities. And these are some of the surveys that I have undergone. And based on the literature survey, my proposed architecture focuses on video forgery, copy mode video forgery detection, which video is extracted generated into frames and original frames and template frames. From these frames, features are extracted, and the extracted features have to undergo feature selection process, which is then sent to our CNN layers, which is also pre-trained with VGG16, and which helps in finding whether the image is authenticated or tampered. Thank you for the patient listening. These are the references that I have undergone for this survey. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your great presentation. Now, I would like to invite our next presenter.
Yes, sir.
Tralokyo Singh, and presenting on an optimal ordering policy varying with generalized exponential increasing demand, variable deterioration, and time-dependent holding cost.
Sir, I am not able to share my screen. Kindly
Yes.
allow me.
Please try again, sir.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Good afternoon, all. I am Dr. Traloknath Singh, Associate Professor, Department of Mathematics, C.V. Raman Global University. My paper that is on economic order quantity on operation research, applied mathematics. So topic, an optimal ordering policy varying with the generalized exponential increasing demand, variable iteration, and time-dependent holding costs. So first, outline, introduction, notations, and assumptions, mathematical analysis of the model, numerical example and its sensitivity analysis, conclusion, and reference part. So start with the introduction. In real life situations, the effect of deterioration is very important in many inventory systems. In general, the deterioration is defined as a decay, damage, spoilage, evaporation, loss of utility of commodity that results in decreasing usefulness. Most of the physical goods undergo decay or deterioration over time. The proposed model in this paper is for deteriorating item, which has a time-dependent generalized increased demand rate, time proportional deterioration rate, and time-dependent holding cost. The items that exhibit in the above phenomena, for example, food items, vegetables, fruits, medicines, drugs, chemicals, volatile substances, electronics, and bloods, like this. Therefore, the effect of deterioration on these items nowadays very essential while developing the model. Consequently, the production and inventory problem for deteriorating items have been extensively studied by several researchers. First researcher Ghare and Sardar 1963, who are the first researcher to derive an economic order quantity model by assuming exponential decay for items. Later, Covert and Philip extended Ghare and Sardar's model by considering deterioration rate to two parameter variable distribution iteration rate. Then Philip extended Gare and Southers model by 3 parameter variable distribution iteration rate. The next category of decoying models on inventory has been developed on the basis of time proportional demand patterns. On this regard, Silver and Mill modified a economic order quantity model by taking varying demand rates. Analytical solution procedure with inventory model for deteriorating item with a linear demand pattern was presented by Donaldson. Later, Dev and Patel studied the inventory model for deteriorating items with constant demand and proportional deterioration rates. Now considering another type of demand pattern, that is exponential type. In this regard, Hollier and Mark formulated the optimal inventory model for deteriorating items with the consideration of exponential demand pattern and constant deterioration rate. Later, Wong et al. Developed an EOQ inventory model for deteriorating items in which demand function is exponential decline and with partial backlogging. So, Rafat, Goyalgiri, and Lee et al. Presented review articles on current development in inventory models. In practice, the demand of items, either seasonal or newly launched items that come to the market, which increases with time. For example, newly launched fashion goods, new mobile sets, laptops, the exponential demand rate is more appropriate for these items. In this regard, Ali and Sani formulated the ordering policy with varying deterioration rate, generalized exponential decreasing demand and fixing holding costs. Later, Ali and Sani in another paper formulated optimal policy for decaying item with a generalized exponential increasing demand rate and a linearly increasing holding costs. The proposed model is suitable for items like newly launched items, newly launched fashion items, cosmetics like this. A couple of numerical examples and their sensitivity analysis has been presented to describe application of the present model. So next part, notations. ZT, that is theta 0t, variable deterioration rate or varying deterioration rate or time proportional deterioration rate. Deterioration varies with time. Second, exponential increasing demand. Here we have taken generalized exponential increasing demand rate, that is constant e to the power h plus lambda t. IT inventory level, time period of, that is t, time period of whole cycle, that is t, I0 initial stock of the inventory model, and H1 plus H2 linear function of time holding cost, DC deterioration cost per unit, and at last ABC, average total cost of the system or inventory model. So assumptions, in our model, we have to consider only one type of items. For example, one type of cosmetic items, one type of electronics items, mobiles or laptops, anything. So deterioration follows one parameter variable distribution deterioration. The demand rate follows generalized exponential increasing function of time. Shortages, other types of backlogged, like complete backlogging, partial backlogging demand, these are not allowed. System is based on infinite time horizon. Holding cost is a linear function of time, and final ordering cost and deterioration cost are fixed. So from the picture, from starting, we have I0 units of stocks in our hand. It declines continuously due to joint consequence of or combined effect of generalized expansion increasing demand pattern and variable deterioration rates. Up to time t is equal to t, capital T, total cycle time or total period of the model. Then it becomes 0. So from this instantaneous differential equation, that is dit by dt plus zt it, that is minus rt, where zt means variable deterioration rate, rt demand rate, generalized exponential rate. Solving equation 1 with boundary condition it is equal to 0, t nothing but that is the period of cycle length of our model, it with boundary condition I of t 0. Then we reach the solution. So the initial stock is obtained from putting I0 equal to I0. Then we have to calculate several
Yeah,
costs.
excuse me. Can you conclude within 1 minute?
Then we can calculate various cost, ordering costs by this
I
formula.
try to conclude within 1 minute because we have limited time. Please.
System carrying cost with this formula and system deterioration cost with this formula. Finally, we have to get the average cost, total average system cost. That is nothing but sum of all cost with the ratio of our period of time. Then we have to minimize the cost. In order to minimize the cost, then we get maximum profit. The model is based on to maximize the profit in order to minimize the loss. Final, we conclude with the system parameters with their proper units. So using our Mathematica software, we get time cycle period that is 1.59685. Provided it satisfies the sufficient condition, second derivative must be 0. And using this time cycle, we can calculate average cost, total cost, and initial stock I0 star. And taking all the parameters fixed and taking one parameter variable at, we can calculate sensitivity analysis, and we get these results. And these results are available in tables. Finally, we reach at concluding remarks. And this model can be extended in various ways. We can extend in other types of demand like price dependent demand, stock dependent demand, and various probabilistic or stochastic demand patterns. Another way you can extend with two parameter variable distribution and gamma distribution deterioration rate. Then we have references. Thank you.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you made any comparisons also with the existing work? Like your comparison of your outcomes with the existing work?
We can compare with the previous papers. In previous paper, they have got result, but we have got minimized results. That means we can get more profits.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for great presentation. Now, I would like to give some short intro about our session chair. Just a second. Dr. Vijay Singh Rathore. Dr. Vijay Singh Rathore is an professor at CSE and Director Outreach of Jaipur Engineering College and Research Center, India, and Secretary of ACM Jaipur chapter and past chairman of CSI Jaipur chapter, and is having a teaching experience of 20 plus years. His core research areas include internet security, cloud computing, big data, and IoT. He has organized and participated 25 plus international and national conferences and recruit. Our session chair also joined Dr. Nimisha Patel. Just a second.
Namaskar, Nimisha ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
We are all fine. We're just waiting for you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
sorry. Sorry, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Actually, I was with our pro, sir. That's why.
Yeah, we can understand, ma'am. We can understand.
Okay.
Our next session chair is Professor Nimisha Patel. Professor Nimisha Patel has 19 years of teaching experience in the field of computer science and engineering, computer engineering and information technology. She is currently working as a professor and head of the Department of Computer Engineering and Information Technology, Gandhinagar Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar. She has 51 research papers in various conferences and journals of national and international repute with Scopus, ESCI, UGC, and indexing. She has delivered expert talks and also acted as a session chair and reviewer for many conferences. Her area of domain is cloud computing, networking, information security, and parallel programming. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So we're moving for our next presenter. Our next presenter is Sai Pranavi, and she is presenting on development and validation of unsupervised machine learning clustering techniques.
Good afternoon, respected panel members. My name is Sai Pranavi. I am an undergraduate currently pursuing final year of BTech at KLF Vijayawada. The other authors of this paper are
Ma'am, you have to share your screen.
Yes, I am sharing my screen. One second.
Yes, it is visible.
Good afternoon, respected panel members. My name is Sai Pranavi. I am an undergraduate currently pursuing final year of BTech at KLF Vijayawada. The other authors of this paper are Jayratan, Hemant, Vidyulata, Bahet, Haran Babu. I am presenting the paper named The Development and Validation of Unsupervised Machine Learning Clustering Techniques with the paper ID of 237. The main aim of our paper is related to social media. Nowadays, a greater number of users are engaging to create new issues and discussions on various social media platforms. Social media acts as a global public platform which remains accessible to consumers as a diverse group of internet applications. Social media analysis. It is a way to inspect the opinions of people regarding celebrities, movies, etc. The main work of social media analysis is to segregate the people's opinions into categories like positive, negative, and neutral. For example, consider a review of a movie. How people think about it. There will be three ways. That is, whether if they like it, then it is positive. If they did not like it, then it is negative. If somewhere in between them, then it is neutral. Sentimental analysis. It needs points to be assorted that is considered to get a right outcome. To identify and examine the sentiments, some of the techniques are used to predict client topics, sentiment polarities, investigation of various information grouping, and many other. It tends to give quick investigations on complex sentiments such as registering equality of various data, inaccurate words, ordered divisions, and dynamic data. The user messages are passed in social media that they are identified as network relationships and applied various data mining techniques to group into a different type of communities. The collection of objects is considered as similar or non-similar clustering structures in unsupervised approaches. The cluster method attempts to analyze the notion of similarity or dissimilarity among the data objects that are being clustered. In this type of analysis, the process of evaluation of clusters is to identify and update the changes until the desired output is reached. The main aim of our paper is to develop clusters depending on the features and their characteristics that are included in proposed model. This work helps the system to categorize people in groups, which also helps to identify people groups that are participated in discussions. In this paper, the clustering algorithms which we used are k-means, dbscan, PAM to cluster data and to find large streams of clustering community messages in social media data. Our paper throws a light on novel use case of communities and proposed algorithm that is based on agglomerated dendrogram elbow method, which gives best clustering results. These applications tell us which group of people saw the post, gave their opinions on the post, and categorized them. In our paper, we have used social media questionnaire dataset, which consists of 10,000 rows. Primarily, we have used the clustering algorithm, which identifies the denser points and ignores the outliers. The centroid-based algorithm, which is a fast and effective, is where the data points are separable on many centroid values. Each and every data point is based on squared distances as like Euclidean measurements with a simple and common type. In hierarchical approach-based clustering, it is primarily to consider the hierarchical data that builds a tree of clusters, which is very specific to different data sets. A set of unlabeled data is used by different unsupervised learning algorithms. K-means clustering algorithm. It is an existing algorithm which already has its applications in social media data analysis. In this, the data is clustered to detect the message communities from large streams of social media. The set of observations are taken for every identification, which will be a dimensional vector to separate into the set of clusters K. In spam clustering algorithm, that is partition around Muroid's algorithm, this is very similar to K-means algorithm, but here it takes into consideration of Muroids rather than centroids as in K-means algorithm. Here the clusters will be usually taken as 3, and then based on that the data items will be clustered, and finally this process continues until we get an optimized cluster or the midoid. In PAM algorithm, we have 2 phases, that is the build phase and the swap phase. In the build phase, a collection of M objects are chosen from an initial set of data points, that is D. And in the swap phase, we improve the cluster quality by swapping the selected and unselected objects. So initially the data set D is collected, which is containing of P data points, and the initial centroid, the K centroids are taken. For maximum number of iterations I, we update the cluster values based on the Euclidean distance, and also after that we update the centroids based on the elbow method. Then we continue this process until we get the final centroids, which is optimal. And in the agglomerative hierarchical clustering algorithm, this algorithm is slightly different from K-means algorithm, as it does not require the predefined number of clusters. It follows a bottom-up approach which considers each data point as a cluster and merges each neighboring pair of a cluster until a single cluster is formed that contains all the given input data points. The working of this is given as, first we take input of data vectors, V data vectors, and then we also find distance between each data point, the 2 data points in that vectors. Then we assign the data points to an array. Then while looping through the array, we take a single item and check whether the distance, whether it is a minimum distance or not. If it is minimum, then we add it to another array. This continues until we loop through all the items. And finally, this set of data items are constructed as a tree, and this final tree is resulted. The DB-scan clustering algorithm, it is based on the norm that each data point in a cluster should have a minimum number of data points in its neighborhood. It is a density-based clustering algorithm. Hence, it takes 2 parameters. They are epsilon and minimum samples. Epsilon is the least distance between 2 neighboring data points in a cluster, and minimum samples are the minimum number of data points that can be
Sorry to
clustered
interrupt
together.
you, ma'am, but you have last 1 minute.
Okay. So the DB-scan clustering algorithm is performed in this way, that the minimum number of data, the neighboring data point should have minimum number of data points around it. Based on our paper, the algorithms which we applied, we got these results. That is, first for the K-means algorithm, we have applied the elbow method. Elbow method is a graphical representation of finding the optimal K, that is a cluster, in a K-means algorithm. It works by finding within cluster sum of square, that is the sum of that square distance between points in a cluster in the cluster centroid. So when we look at the diagram, we can see that WCSS values are plotted on the y-axis, and the number of clusters are plotted on the x-axis. And the value of the cluster for which we can find the elbow in the graph, it is considered as the elbow point, and it is the optimized value of the cluster. So in our example, you can see that for n equals to 4, you can find the elbow. So for our data set, you can assume that the number of clusters to be 4. And for the agglomerative clustering algorithm, we have used dendrogram linkage. Dendrogram linkage. A dendrogram is a diagram that shows the hierarchical relationship between objects. The main use of dendrogram is to work on the best way to allocate objects. So based on the dendrogram, we got that the clusters can be 4. And when coming to the scatter plot, that is for the dbScan algorithm, then the scatter plot means we can plotting the given data points based on the percentage and count. So based on this, which is having the highest number of points, that one can be considered as a cluster. So even in this also we got 4 having the highest number of data points. So the number of clusters for our data set can be considered as 4. Conclusion. This paper is an effective solution for social media analysis using k-means, which is the issue with the already existing tools and techniques in the market. Using k-means, the time delay in performing analysis and the cost incurred in the process will be optimized when compared to the other existing techniques. This paper is prepared using the Python framework. The proposed system contains the model, which has various social media platforms trend analysis using k-means. It also provided the count and percentage of the users as seen in the dbScan algorithm graph. And the proposed work settles with the circumstance of open source software along with commodity hardware that will rise the profit of IT industry. We face few limitations when doing our paper. They are, in some pattern recognition problems, the training dataset consists of a set of input vectors X without any corresponding target values. The goal in such unsupervised learning problems may be to discover groups of similar examples within the data, where it is called clustering, or to determine how the data is distributed in the space, known as the density estimation. To put forward in simpler terms, for an n-sampled space that is from x1 to xn, 2 class labels are not provided for each sample, hence known as learning without teacher, that is unsupervised learning, in which no prior labeled data will be given. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present our paper in the SMARTCOM conference. Thank you so much.
Please,
So-
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've completed presenting our paper.
Pranavi, I just
Yes,
wanted
ma'am.
to know that why you give the title development and validation. I guess the suitable title, this is just validation of existing clustering technique. If I'm not
Ma'am,
wrong.
we have used various techniques like PAM, dbScan also.
Yeah, that is just use of existing clustering techniques, na?
We have validated
What is the reason behind writing this development? Are you developing your own technique, anything?
No, ma'am, but we have used it. We have validated that on a new data set, that is social media data set.
That is application.
Yeah.
That is application part. But what I suggest, the suitable title, we should not use the development, because what your title says, development and validation of unsupervised machine learning clustering technique, means from
Yes,
the
ma'am.
title, it's look like that you are developing your own unsupervised machine learning clustering technique. Is it so? Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What you said is correct. I understood that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you, dear presenter. Now moving for our next presentation. Mohtar Hussain, and he's presenting on impact of COVID-19 on MSME's contribution towards Indian economy. Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Good afternoon to all. Welcome to my presentation. I am glad to have the opportunity to present my research work in this platform. Let me start by introducing myself. I am Mohtar Hussain. research scholar, University School of Business, Chandigarh University, and I'm basically from Bangladesh. And as you can see in the screen, my topic is impact of COVID-19 on MSME's contribution towards Indian economy. Let us have a look. MSME sector is one of the vibrant sector in Indian economy, and this sector is contributing significantly towards the economy of India. The study aimed at examining the factors that disturb the contribution of MSME to the economy of India resulting from COVID-19 pandemic. And some relevant papers have been examined, and key factors firmly opposed to the growth and development of MSME's contribution that have been identified. Moreover, this study found that MSME's contribution towards economy of India in relation to GDP, employment generation, and export are affected by these factors also. The study also proposed some corrective steps to address the sustainability and growth challenges faced by the micro, small, and medium enterprises working in India. The coronavirus pandemic is not just a body blow to human, but also the economies of the world. India is no different. The Indian government announced a national lockout to control the spread of the virus during the COVID-19 pandemic. Micro, small, and medium enterprises are hit the hardest. The COVID situation has been slowing down the trends of MSME's growth and development. Still now, the contribution of MSMEs towards Indian economy is running low day by day. MSME is one of the sectors that has a great potentiality in the economy due to their easy formation. Objectives. The study has been conducted to detect the factors that affect the contribution of MSMEs towards Indian economy due to COVID-19 pandemic. And the study recommended certain remedial measures for the resolution of the pandemic problems experienced by the sector. The study is descriptive intrinsically. An empirical study has been conducted by examining certain articles on the questions. It uses only secondary data. Secondary data sources are magazine documents and all reports, journals, and publications on the internet. The conceptual framework has been built from the literature review, and MSME's development and growth ultimately contributes to the country in terms of GDP, employment generation, and it helps to enhance the export of the country also. GDP contribution, let's see. This is the graph of GDP growth, year-wise GDP growth. And for last 5 years, if we observe, then we can find that the GDP growth was negative at 2020. And the COVID pandemic was affecting severely during the year 2020 and 21. And we know from the literature that MSME sector has a significant contribution to the Indian economy, and the GDP share was, consistent. It has been dropped to 26.83% during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it is clear from the discussion that from the result that the COVID pandemic has paramount effect on the GDP growth.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but you have last 1 minute.
Oh, okay. So Contribution of MSMEs towards Indian export is also consistent enough, and it is near about 49 or 50, nearly 50% of export is contributed by the MSME sector. And for employment, it is growing day by day, and presently it is near about nearly 90% of employment created by the micro, small and medium enterprises. So after examining some important articles focusing on COVID-19 pandemic, these are the findings. The economic contribution of MSME in terms of GDP, employment, exports are significant during the study period and declining daily during the pandemic situation. The pandemic situation leads to major problems before micro enterprises, such as lack of working capital, decrease of product demand, disruption of labor accessibility, disruption of supply chain management, restriction on moving goods. Many small enterprises may need to shut down their business if it goes worse and last for long duration. MSME create great opportunities to produce and market products such as masks, hand sanitizers. These are the benefit, and medical opportunities that MSMEs can grab to continue their business. The Indian government and private business try to help MSMEs survive in the pandemic situation and to keep their pace of growth and development. Some suggestions have been given. Government as well as private organizations need to take initiatives to retain the growth and development of the sector in India. Financial institutions can offer favorable financial packages to the MSMEs for overcoming the problems. Collateral-free loans should be provided to the sector. Innovative technological implementation can increase the production and it will add the gross domestic product, and it can help to overcome the adverse situation of pandemic. MSMEs should develop innovative strategies to address the pandemic environment that has changed the business environment also. Enterprises should adapt themselves when doing business using e-commerce. MSMEs in India have exceptional monetary issue which is compromising their very presence, basically in the light of the fact that the effect of stance to market interest upon micro, small and medium enterprises surfaces and keeps on developing. Data about the harm to MSMEs and more extensive Indian economy is bit by bit getting more normal. Because of the well-being pandemic, coronavirus has significantly changed the form and changed its present business practice. To expand on business thinking, new methodologies are expected to prevail on the world market. Specific importance was given to the employment of the society, way of life, social business visionaries. In reacting to current social changes, this implied that examination proposition could be additionally investigated in the future. That's all from my side. And now, thanks all of you for patient hearing. And now I'm expecting your valuable suggestions on my presentation, on my discussion. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, do you have any question?
No question, sir.
Okay. So moving for our next presenter, Dipanjali Mishra, and she's presenting on impact of the role of artificial intelligence on mental health. Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is my paper, Impact of the Role of Artificial Intelligence on Mental Health. I am Parvati V. I am a research scholar in English, KIT deemed to be University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. And my supervisor, who is also the corresponding author, is Dr. Deepanjali Mishra, Associate Professor, English, KIT deemed to be University. Artificial intelligence consists of a machine technology which is associated. Excuse me, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Artificial intelligence consists of a machine technology which is associated with using a computer system with a form of minimized human intervention in order to conduct a behavior that is more intelligent in nature. There are various applications of artificial intelligence, like professional systems, natural language processing, recognition of speech, and machine learning. The technology related to artificial intelligence and its strategies would prove to be very, very much useful in almost all domains which are related to human behavior. The concept of artificial intelligence is an umbrella term commonly accustomed to consult any approach which could be used in either real or in virtual world. Artificial intelligence refers to procedure instrumentation capable of substitute for human intelligence within the performance of positive tasks. This technology is presently advancing. Various packages of computer science. There are various packages of computer science with regard to artificial intelligence that has been dominant in various fields like gaming, natural language processing, speech recognition, and recognition of handwriting. Artificial intelligence plays an essential role in strategic video games together with chess, poker, tic-tac-toe, and so on in gaming. There are programs that mix device, software, and distinctive records to impart reasoning and advising. They provide rationalization and recommendation to the users. Doctors use clinical knowledgeable devices to diagnose the patient. Police use laptop software system, which will perceive the face of crook with the portrait created with the help of rhetorical creator. Speech recognition is one of the most important applications of artificial intelligence, which involves grasping and understanding the given language in the form of words, sentences, or phrases, along with the meaning mentioned. An individual's speech too is mentioned and the time is recorded. It may include colloquial accents, slang, regional words, or there may be a difference due to outside noise, due to natural environment. This is also used in literature and especially while creating works of art. There are various softwares available that have the ability to study a written form of text in a document using any written medium like a pen or pencil. This also has the ability to understand the letter shapes, which can convert into understandable, ready-to-edit text. Robots are very much capable of performing the obligations. They have sensors to detect bodily records inclusive of sunshine, heat, temperature, movement, sound, bump, and strain. They have sensors to exhibit intelligence. Additionally, they are capable of finding out errors and can also adapt to the new surroundings. Artificial intelligence has numerous applications in the field of mental health, and this is the main finding of this paper. The use of artificial intelligence in the field of mental health increased during the time of COVID-19 in the form of telehealth, or people making use of telemedicine. When people started to search for virtual medical counseling rather than physical presence in the hospitals. Mental illness is a very sensitive issue and is most commonly found in people of present-day generation. There are various reasons which is attributed to this cause, out of which one is depression. The cases of depression has risen at an alarming rate after the pandemic COVID-19. Many people lost their jobs and were unable to sustain a family. Loneliness was another cause of mental depression among senior citizens. artificial intelligence contributed to clinical diagnosis. The strategies of artificial intelligence enables in determining the original sickness and providing more alternative to demography and causes affecting the ecosystem. These are the results. The techniques of artificial intelligence can find out risk leading to genetic or environmental disorder, responsible for improvised natural gene interactions as well as psychological interactions. Artificial intelligence techniques are very much for the process of coding and artificial intelligence help in collecting more sensitive information from the patients who are suffering from mental illness. Artificial intelligence researchers provide patient-oriented unit of medication and are more patient-focused. Efficient use of artificial intelligence can be achieved by utilizing data sets pertaining to social media and communicate the findings with the medical teams that function within every community. Artificial intelligence is a technology deemed to progress in regions of digital medicines that possess the capability to enhance mental health by contributing to its analysis and possible diagnosis by its applications. The incorporation of artificial intelligence in mental health has an aim to impact our future with greater importance. Research is being conducted to find a cure on Alzheimer's disease, which is also helpful for anyone willing to learn about the condition, thus encouraging assistance in this revolutionary development. The scope of bioinformatics is also being explored by genetic engineering and analysis, which is mostly done with the incorporation of artificial intelligence, which has also helped in cancer analysis. Artificial intelligence has a compelling influence on knowledge analysis, individual and personal requirements, decision-making, self-driving cars, manufacturing of self-flying vehicles that could complete the designated task quicker and with higher efficiency, and has the potential to transform the tech industry, agriculture, education, transportation, finance, biotechnology, cybersecurity, etc. This is all. Thank you.
Thank you, dear presenter, for this presentation. Ma'am, do you have any question with the patient?
No, I don't have a question, but I just have a suggestion. I think you should use some presentable skills for the presenting a paper.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so moving for our next presenter, Pooja Kadam, and she's presenting on quantum optimization techniques and its comprehension with classical optimization. Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening all. I'm Pooja Kadam, presenting my paper on quantum optimization techniques and its comparison with classical optimization. I work at the Reliance Industries Limited in the department of O2C R&D. So I'll start with my presentation on like a quantum computing and its optimization. So basically quantum computers can outperform on non-deterministic problems where non-deterministic means in any particular room. Most of the optimization algorithm basically starts solving the problem with some initial random values, and these seed values basically, because it's random, sometimes the solution from huge feasible solution do not get converged due to high turnaround time, as well as means it may face the issue of non-convergence. In the real world optimization problems, like where we would like to optimize, like as we know, there are so many new energy resources are getting utilized. So for that also means when we try to optimize such a big problems, we may face the issue with the classical optimization technique, and where like quantum optimization techniques perform better than the classical optimization techniques. So the researcher at Chalmers University of Technology, they tried to minimize the interval required to transfer the passengers and luggages from one flight to another, keeping the maintenance time in the mind. Initially, they started this optimization problem with 2-qubit processor, and gradually it scaled up to the 25-qubit processor for 278 aircraft. And also the second algorithm, which is well known, that is quantum-based Grover database search algorithm, which can sort the n number of items in almost half steps, which is big O of square root n, as compared to the classical computer. So it means it reduced the efforts and time by half, and means like, as we know, the this source algorithm of finding the prime numbers also has taken the attention of all the users and developers into the industry, which can sort the numbers very quickly using the quantum computers. So this type of intricate industrial problems can be solved better with the quantum computers as compared to the classical computers. So going towards how quantum computers means optimization work. So here 0 or 1 state, whereas quantum computers basically it's work onto the it's work in the superposition where qubits either will be into the 0 or into the 1, or we may say 50% it's in a 0 and 50% it's in a 1 while it is processing, or 20% in the 0 and 80% in the 1 while it is processing, and once it completes the processing it may turn into the 0 or 1. So basically here the quantum computers adapts the Ising Hamiltonian model, which works onto the thermodynamics, where basically it takes two atoms and on bonds and it spins, and external field try to align either the spin into the in the direction of 0 or in the direction of 1, and this way means like all the processing happens in the superposition, which is a combination of 0 and 1. It's not at the one direction, either 0 or 1. So here, the first algorithm explained in this particular paper is a genetic quantum algorithm. So here on the left side, we can see how the population is represented into the classical optimization algorithm, which is having a different chromosomes, that is C1, C2, C3, and this is entire population, and gene is represented into either 1 or 0. Whereas here onto the right hand side, how populations are presented into the quantum optimization algorithm, where your gene are represented here into the superposition, which is either into this in the superposition state of 0 and 1. So any evolutionary algorithm have following these three main characteristics. One is a population, which we can see here into the graph. Second one is a fitness score. So basically we calculate the fitness score of all the chromosomes and select the best performing chromosome and kill the remaining chromosomes. And the third one, which is variation diversion, where we try to create the new individual solutions or offsprings which performs better than the older chromosomes. So here, these are the steps which are performed into the genetic quantum algorithm, which is first one is initializing the quantum population, which is QT. So here, as we seen earlier, that this it will be, this QT will be in this particular stage, and a cardinal sum of alpha and beta square will be always 1, as at the end it will be turning into the either 0 or 1 position. Then say in second step, what we do here, we means like whatever we have generated through the quantum machine, we convert it into the binary representation, that is either 0 or 1, and we calculate the fitness score of every chromosomes on the binary bits, because it's very difficult to calculate the fitness score into the superposition. So now the fitness score will be calculated into the classical computers, and again it will be evaluated based on its fitness score, and then we select the individuals which are high performing and kill the remaining one. And if in the step 4, if we feel the generated offspring do not meet the expectation, then we generate +1 population with maximum fitness. And here a Q gate or a Q rotation gate help us to generate the new offspring. How? So basically, excuse me. So basically we feed the older chromosomes with the theta matrix. So theta here help us to decide on to the degree of rotation and direction of the rotation, whether it should turn to the 0 or it should turn to the 1. And it generates the new offspring because of the quantum mechanisms which works simultaneously in the state of 0 and 1. We get the better and good offsprings generated as compared to classical genetic algorithm. And at the last, we repeat steps from 2 to 4 till we meet the termination conditions. The second algorithm explained here in paper is quantum approximate optimization algorithm. Here I have explained this particular algorithm with the simplest example of traveling salesman problem. So here the salesman will be visiting each city only once, and we have to minimize the traveling cost over here. So when I use the quantum mechanics, that is a superposition of 1 and 0. So basically it tries to align the qubit into the position which will lead to the optimal route. So let's see here the graph of traveling salesman problem, and say I could get this particular solution through this particular quantum optimization algorithm, where 1 says I'll be traveling to the city and 0 says I'll not be traveling to the city. And algorithm generates 1 when it says it is into the optimal path, otherwise it will turn to the 0. So here based on this particular algorithm, I'll be traveling from S0, S1, S2 and S3, which will be from A to B, B to C, and again from C to D, and finally from D to A. So this is how quantum this approximation optimization algorithm work. While it is in the superposition, it turns the qubit into the position which will be into the optimal route of the traveling. So here the major focus is on the comparison of classical and quantum optimization algorithm. So basically the quantum algorithm generates the pure random number which are generated through the noise of the quantum machine, whereas our classical computers, it works onto the pseudo random number which use some data to generate the random number, such as a weather data, and sometimes there are possibility that we may get a repeated random numbers. So it do not give opportunity to generate the new offsprings and as compared to the quantum algorithms. The second point here I would like to put upon is the time of execution. Like if we see here, the quantum algorithm do the sorting of the items while calculating the fitness score. So here the quantum algorithms performs into the big O of n time, whereas classical computers, it performs onto the big O of n square time, which means like based on the problem, here the time increases exponentially, whereas in the quantum machine it increases linearly. So that is the second point where quantum computers help us. Third point where the quantum algorithms or when we run these two algorithms onto the small optimization problem, we could not see the difference between both the algorithms output. But when we run these algorithms onto the complex problem, we could drastically see the quantum optimization algorithms performing better onto the classical optimization algorithm. Also, the quantum optimization algorithm attempts to find the state with low cost, as it used to shift the amplitude towards the lower cost. And it makes the operation combines amplitude from different states. And going through the multiple iterations, sometimes classical computer too much of time to come out of the it increases the turnaround time drastically, whereas quantum computers perform better as compared to the classical computers.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am, but your last 1 minute.
Yeah, so these are some comparisons which has been done onto the how classical optimization algorithm and how quantum optimization algorithm works. So I conclude here that the quantum optimization algorithm works better onto the complex problem as compared to classical optimization algorithms. Yeah, these are some references which I have referred here for preparing this paper. Thank you. I welcome the questions, if any, on this particular paper.
Hello. Pooja madam, just go back to the comparison PPT.
Yes.
Just go to the comparison PPT.
Yeah, one second.
Okay, no issue, no need to share. But see, in the case of comparison PPT, whatever the references you have used,
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
yeah, whatever the references you have used, I guess one reference is from the 2000, year 2000. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
One is from, two are from 2000, one is from 2012. See, now in the case of a research, if we want to conclude something, if we want to identify something in the form of a gap, then the research must be recent year, because 2000, we are in 2023, 23 years old paper. We can, yes, we can take that paper for fundamental knowledge only, but we cannot conclude anything from those papers. This is my perception. Because
Okay, yeah,
for the research, we need to refer the genuine sources as well as the latest sources.
Okay,
5
yeah.
साल में कितना कुछ हो जाता है, ये तो 23 साल में तो क्या कुछ नहीं हुआ.
Yes, ma'am, true. So basically on this particular area, there's very less research has been happening.
No,
and
ma'am,
less
there are so many papers are available for this quantum optimization, and I suggest to go with the standard means genuine publication sources.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
Noted. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your great presentation. Now I'd like to invite our next presenter, P. Aruna, and she's presenting on security aspects on IoT, challenges in and countermeasures. Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you, sir. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon to one and all present here. And my paper is Security Aspects in IoT, Challenges and Countermeasure. I am Dr. P. Aruna, working as an assistant professor in Department of Software Systems, Coimbatore Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. And let me start with the abstract. So the Internet of Things evolves from mobile computing and ubiquitous computing. Though IoT technology is booming, the devices are highly prone to security vulnerables, and the adaptation and success of the IoT framework depends on the security it provides. So this study of security aspects in IoT is a major issue which is addressed in this paper. This article discusses the security challenges that could be faced in the IoT environment and the prevention mechanisms used in IoT to keep the security and privacy to create a secured environment. And this slide speaks about the introduction. The IoT is an evolving technology where things are wirelessly connected through web-enabled smart devices that use embedded systems, which contains microsystems, sensors, and communication module. The IoT have the facility to transmit and exchange data over the net or other communication networks without human intervention. Without security, any physical object of the IoT ecosystem can be easily hacked once the network layer is compromised. In order to ensure security and privacy, unauthorized identification and access must be restricted to the user's personal information, which might easily get compromised by cyber attack or unauthorized access. And this slide speaks about the security challenges in IoT. IoT architecture has 3 layers, namely perception layer, application layer, and network layer. Data is collected from the environment by the perception layer through sensors, which are later transmitted to the network layer. Network layer routes the data to various IoT devices on the internet. In the application layer, it has a smart environment is created, which is also responsible for the authenticity and confidentiality of the data. Each of the above IoT layers are vulnerable to security threats and attacks. So the security challenges in perception layer are such as the attacks RFID, wireless sensor networks through which the signals are transmitted between the sensor nodes. The major security threats in the perception layer are eavesdropping, replay attack, a node tampering attack, timing attack, node jamming attack. And the security challenges in network layers are malicious scripts attack, phishing attack, and cross-site scripting attack. So this slide speaks about the prevention methods. By implementing protection in the early stages of production, the majority of attacks may be prevented. Public key infrastructure ensures security between client-server devices in various networking systems. Any IoT system must secure its API because it serves as the foundation for all IoT solutions. Antivirus software handles all the intricate procedures and ensures that the PC is safe. Modifying the router's default settings, most individuals fail to change the router and continue using the name provided by the manufacturer. And using 4 different technologies, we can increase the level of security in IoT. Those technologies are blockchain, fog computing, edge computing, and machine learning. And here in this paper, we have an idea to implement SHA-3 algorithm for IoT applications. So we have discussed the SHA-3 algorithm for IoT applications. The CIA Trinity or 3 fundamental security principles should generally be used and met by secured IoT. Those are availability, integrity, and confidentiality. Applications for the Internet of Things that require data integrity and source authentication security services and have significant data throughput can employ SHA-3 algorithm. SHA-3 algorithm, a secure method for producing an exclusive signature for a data transaction, and a hash code that is exclusive to this transaction is provided by SHA-3. And the most recent hash algorithm adopted by NIST, that is National Institute of Standards and Technology, is SHA-3. Consider X1 and X2 as 2 messages that when a hash function H is applied to provide H and H1 and Hx2. With the birthday paradox, a hash collision for an n-bit hash code can theoretically be produced in O of 2 to the power 2n by 2 attempts. The input is read and processed during the absorption phase of the process. The output of the squeeze phase, when the hash code is produced, follows. Conclusion. Due to the rapid progress in the development of IoT, many security threats exist, which in turn hinders the development of this field. There are many security threats that need to be addressed. There is rapid growth in the technology, so security in IoT should also be addressed in a rapid manner. And these are all some of the references we have used in this paper. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, I think you have used only SHA-3. You have studied only SHA-3.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Apart from the SHA-3, there are so many hash algorithms are available. SHA-2 512, SHA-256.
Sure.
Before concluding anything, whether we should use SHA-3 or not, first you should make a comparison table of all the hash algorithms.
Okay, ma'am.
This is the first my comment.
Thank
Second,
you.
once you go for the hash algorithm, it will just give you the authentication part, or I can say that it will ensure the integrity part. But what
Okay.
about confidentiality part? Because in the IoT
Yes, ma'am,
system,
actually.
if we talk about the security, then it must be confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. So with the help of hash,
Yes, ma'am.
you might be able to achieve integrity and authentication, but the main part, confidentiality, is totally untouched. Okay.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Sure.
Okay.
We'll look into it, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for your great presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now I invite our next presenter, Aishwarya Banerjee, and she's presenting a survey on irrigation scheduling with machine learning. Dear presenter, you may please start your presentation.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
A very good evening to all of you present here. I am Aishwarya Banerjee, an ACSI research student. I work under the guidance of Dr. Orpita Mukherjee, a principal scientist at CSI CMERI. I'll present our work on survey on irrigation scheduling with machine learning. To make up for rainfall shortcomings, a plant's growth is aided by both irrigation and nutrient supply that requires fresh water. About 70% of the fresh water resources are used for agricultural purposes. Between the year 2002 and 2016, 64% of the country's districts experienced water table loss as a result of this extreme reliance on the groundwater. Therefore, by scheduling the irrigation appropriately will help to save the water. For continuous progress, agriculture analytics, cloud computing, precision agriculture, and many other tools are still required. Hence, this study provides an introduction to the field of research covering irrigation scheduling in smart agriculture, summarizes of previous studies and irrigation scheduling techniques and other areas for improvement. So I'll just briefly tell about the irrigation scheduling. It is a process of maintaining an optimum water balance in the soil profile for crop growth and production. It has several advantages such as it promotes water rotation, it lowers the required cost for agriculture, it also reduces the need for fertilizer and many more. Another important term which is used here is the machine learning. Machine learning is the study of computer algorithms that allow computer programs to automatically improve through experience. And currently, one of the technical fields with the quickest growth rates, as well as the foundation pillar for data science and artificial intelligence. Several daily used programs incorporate learning algorithms such as healthcare, production, instruction, financial planning, legal system, and marketing. Now I will discuss some methods for irrigation scheduling. The first one here selected is the soil moisture level measurement method. It is used since the first days of irrigation system, both primitive and modern days. Nowadays, the used devices are neutron probe, equator probe, temporal domain reflectometry, gravimetric systems, electronic tensiometers, electrical resistance blocks, and other electronic soil monitoring tools. And finally, the hand feel approaches, which are mainly adapted by the farmers. Another method is the plant-based monitoring method, which provides information regarding the temperature, pressure, humidity, soil moisture, etc. We can use a variety of plant-based indices to decide whether watering is necessary. The most visible factor is how a plant looks in general, such as falling off leaves or dry leaves are a sign of a thirsty plant. The devices used for this purpose are target pressure sensor, pressure bump monitor, etc., which allows a farmer to track the necessary data directly from the plant. Another method is climatological approach, which is mainly based on the IW or CPE ratio. It is a ratio of amount of irrigation water applied to cumulative pan evaporation. The daily pan evaporation totals are added up until they are equal a predetermined percentage of the water used for irrigation. Experimental research using lysimeter studies to estimate evaporation is used to calculate the ratio for different type of crops. After CPE meets the required level, an irrigation water application of a given volume is made. Another method is the water balance approach. It involves monitoring meteorological data in addition to soil type and moisture content, plant type, and other variables. We establish a measure of water taken into the soil via rainfall and irrigation against water taken out of the soil via absorption and evaporation to develop a careful balance to keep plants properly irrigated. Despite being a more complicated calculation, this is the method which is used in a huge amount to predict irrigation needs based on natural rainfall and high evaporation. There are numerous studies present for irrigation scheduling with machine learning. Among all the studies I have presented here, few of the papers which uses machine learning for irrigation scheduling. And after observing all the survey, we have find some gaps, and I have mentioned these gaps. The most important gap is the unnecessary underfitting and overfitting of the data. Underfitting means that the model makes accurate but initially incorrect predictions. No data have been learned by the model as seen by underfitting situations, which exhibit strong bias and low variance. Overfitting is a behavior that occurs when the machine learning model gives accurate prediction for training data but not for new data. Another gap is the accessibility of web infrastructure. The numerous deployment problems with machine learning algorithms are a very severe worry. Docker, Python, Flask, or any comparable web technology will be required. The user also needs to have sufficient knowledge of the web infrastructure. Another problem is the initial cost of deployment. This is very high. Despite the developments, farmers are still concerned about data security and privacy. Despite the reduction in cost for integrating the software and the machine learning algorithms, their applications are decreasing. Machine learning for sustainable and smart irrigation will be difficult to adopt due to a lack of cost effective cloud based infrastructure and hardware configurations. The majority of farmers are curious about their return on investment when using software applications and machine learning in their irrigation system. So, as a future scope of this work, we aim to have a easily understandable automatic irrigation system with real-time applications. In conclusion, I would say this paper provides a review of irrigation scheduling with machine learning algorithms. We have gathered numerous techniques for agricultural water modeling on general manifolds from the literature. It is found that there is a vast amount of research on machine learning, statistics, and decision support system for irrigation scheduling information is already available. Still, the field of crop water modeling and irrigation water management using machine learning algorithm is still in its infancy. Therefore, we have tried to extract the gaps present in the current research. In a future, we are planning to have some developed model for more sophisticated algorithm, incorporating more amounts of data, addressing the scalability issue, developing models that can handle the uncertainty, incorporating crop growth models into irrigation scheduling for accurate prediction, as well as real-time monitoring and control to track performance of the irrigation schedules. These are the references we have used to conduct the correct survey. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation.
Good work.
Thank you, ma'am.
No other comment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, to conclude this session, I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and great contribution in this session, and for all the participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on behalf of whole team, thank you for your support during this version and the previous 6 version of this conference. And we'll be happy to have you all in the 8th version of this conference in 2024. Moreover, all the participants will be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have been already forwarded to the Springer. Publication will be live within 5 to 6 months, so kindly cooperate with Team SMARTCOM 2023 and the Global Knowledge Research Foundation. Just before we end the session, I would like to thank our session chair for chairing the session. And ma'am, there's one token of appreciation to the chair on behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and Team SMARTCOM 2023. Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable presence over here.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to all the presenters and congratulations to the team of organizing this SmartCon 2023 for successful completion of the conference. And I must thank to all of you for inviting me as a session chair. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now, in the end, I would like to request you all to turn on your camera to capture a good memories of this virtual conference. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am, once again. And in the end, stay safe and take care, everyone.